serving hope on a plate across different platforms. This hero will play hydration like Boucher. Don't focus on a date. We always here for you. MediaScope when you're emotionally broke. Settle in our knowledge and conversations, don't make them yours. What we run is the limit, not your hands on the torch. Take it easy like Sundays on the porch. MediaScope when you're emotionally broke. Settle in our knowledge and conversations, don't make them yours. What we run is the limit, not your hands on the torch. Take it easy like Sundays on the porch. Now you award winner with no award tours. This culture meets the art, podcast with the heart and essence of the growth, the powers in the people. Without you we ain't equal, what we lack is ego. We're back now, so here we go, run the show like Arsenio. Episodic, our rituals, minds change the visual. Representation of our nation and its differences. Some explanation of our uniqueness and innocence. Mass media's intention is to desensitize. We raise the wise and knowledge is power. Without it we turn coward and proud of a known product. Like we could take it with us. I wish the greats were still alive and here with us, but it is what it is. We're left here to share our gift and that's precisely what we'll do with it. Shape shift and fluidly we can pass this test and still in our unity, elevating through stress. Yes, MediaScope when you emotionally broke. Settle in our knowledge and conversations, don't make them yours. What we run is the limit, not your hands on the torch. Take it easy like Sundays on the porch. MediaScope when you emotionally broke. Settle in our knowledge and conversations, don't make them yours. What we run is the limit, not your hands on the torch. Take it easy like Sundays on the porch. It's up to you. You got your torch now. MediaScope. We're here for you. We got it all. Tech, hot music. We got it all. Tech, hot music. We got it all. Yeah. 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 Tech, hot music. We got it all. We got it all. We got it all. Tech, pop, music. Tech, pop, music. MediaScope. Serving hope on a plate across different platforms. This hero will play hydration like Boucher. Don't focus on a date. We always here for you. MediaScope when you're emotionally broke. Settle in our knowledge and conversations, don't make them yours. What we run is the limit, not your hands on the torch. Take it easy like Sundays on the porch. MediaScope when you're emotionally broke. Settle in our knowledge and conversations, don't make them yours. What we run is the limit, not your hands on the torch. Take it easy like Sundays on the porch. Now you award winner with no award tours. This culture meets the art, podcast with the heart and essence of the growth, the powers in the people. Without you we ain't equal, what we lack is ego. We're back now, so here we go, run the show like Arsenio. Episodic, our rituals, minds change the visual. Representation of our nation and its differences. Some explanation of our uniqueness and innocence. Mass media's intention is to desensitize. We raise the wise and knowledge is.
What is up, everyone? Welcome to the livest media, tech, pop culture, whatever you want. Party in the land. This is MediaScopes. We are all things MediaScopes. There's only one. Only one. MediaScope. We are all things media, tech, and pop culture. We're here every Wednesday, just about every Wednesday, 6 p.m. Eastern time. And guess what? We do a pop-up. Yeah, a pop-up. It's not a pop-up because it's a standing appointment, but whatever. We're on Instagram at 5. Make sure you join us over there as well. It's a lot of fun. So I'm hoping to see some of you all over there on Instagram at 5 next week. But no worries, you're here now, and I love you for that. Guess who I am? I am Tachi, media professor, filmmaker, media content producer, also a journalist. And yeah, like I said, we're here every week. And guess what? Some of you like to watch us on YouTube. I'm glad. And guess what else I would be glad about? If you liked and subscribe and like. So, all right, let's get to it. I know some people. We got some folks here, so let's make it work and make sure we have a guest today. I'm super excited about that, and she's going to come on and introduce herself in just a moment. But before we do that, definitely Make sure that you put in comments that you have. If you have questions for her, do it. And guess what? We have a giveaway today. I'm excited. Giveaway. Yes. All right. So without any further ado, oh, wait a minute. Before we bring her on, I have to tell you all that it is sneak peek week for Indie Soup Media. You know, I've been talking about Indie Soup for a while now. That is the new network, my new network, and we have a bunch of great, wonderful. And you know what? In fact, I should play when we have time. I'll see at the end the splash video, and then we'll get to our guest. Here we go. All right, it did the little loop-de-loop thing, which you got it twice, which is actually pretty cool. All right, so now, without any further ado, our special guest. You'll see who she is when I play the video. Here we go. Serena Wills!
Thank you.
How are you, my dear?
I am wonderful.
Absolutely.
Love that whole intro. Yeah, there was an A missing from my name, but it's all right. It's okay. Serena Wills.
I don't know. Serene. There we go. I'm sorry. I don't know how the A got missing, but okay, now I know. Serena.
It's okay. It's right. You know, it's all right. We're going to blame technology.
Absolutely. We are. And the fact that I don't know how that happened, for real. But thank you for being here, despite the fact there was no A on the end of your name. How are you, my dear?
I'm good. Happy mid-October to everyone. We're in the final quarter.
Like it's a holiday.
Yeah, is when people were like sending me reminders, say like, "Oh, your workshop is November 2nd." I'm like, "Oh, I got time," and I'm like, "Oh, that's 2 weeks and a day." Okay, let me get it together.
Oh, did you send me some information about the workshop?
I have to start publicizing. I'm like, "Oh, I thought I had like another month." For some reason, I just
okay.
I got plenty of time, but yeah, we'll talk about that later. But yeah, I have workshops coming up in November. I need to get ready for.
Yeah, November is right around the corner, folks.
Right.
So we've got Cheryl Wood says we're back. We are back. How are you, Cheryl? Good to see you. Good to see you. Fantastic, folks. I forgot to give you the hug. Since Serena's on too, she'll be getting up to the hug. Yeah, well, we have no food truck today because Serena decided she wanted to be a guest today. Therefore, we don't have a food truck today. But maybe Terry Johnson will come. The assistant queen of food truckery will be here, and then we could get some tacos going because it's Taco Wednesday. We need some tacos. And hey, Incapable Bonding. Wow.
What's up? Yes.
That is a name.
Yeah, she's in the DMV area. She does amazing work. Yes.
Oh, yep. Wonderful. Yep. So you live in the area. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, she's in the area.
She's in the area. In Maryland. All right. Here we go.
Yeah.
And, Terry Dixon, our good friend, is here as well. It says, hey to me and to you. So wonderful. And as you know, and then here comes our good friend Bryson Lee. Says hey to both of us as well. Well, you know, people just come. Look, there's no such thing as late on MediaScope ever. Oh, no. So whenever you come, you're on time.
There you go.
Come as you are. It's called African time, huh? Okay? Don't even worry about it. So, Serena, let's get to it. Tell everybody about yourself. I think the thing is, we see you so much behind the scenes and writing. We don't really get to hear from you who you are. So I would love for you to introduce yourself to the audience.
Well, yes, it's so funny because I've been behind the scenes. It's been some time now, Tachi. 2 years, like pre-pandemic. We go back pre-pandemic, y'all. So
pre-pandemic, yeah.
Yeah, so when my food truck hat is not on, and I'm not operating a food truck, which in our world is real. I am a published author. I'm a self-published author to now four books, count them. I am a poet, a spoken word artist. I actually teach people. I'm a facilitator, a workshop facilitator, and I teach people the process on how to become self-published. I teach about different forms of poetry. how to get organized when you're getting ready for events, for poetry and book signings. My other hat is I'm a board certified health and wellness coach. I have my own practice, Divine Right Wellness, and I also do coaching. That's what I do, y'all. My 9 to 5. It's not really 9 to 5, but I coach people, and I am also adjunct faculty for a graduate school. So I teach. I have a few hats, and I teach wellness classes and I'm a health and wellness blogger, and you name it. So that is
So
me.
she basically has 17 jobs.
I have
Okay.
10 jobs, man. Yes, I do have
No,
man.
listen, but you're a New Yorker. This is what New Yorkers do. Anybody from New York? How
Yeah.
many New Yorkers do you know, Serena, that just have one job? I don't know any.
No, it's they might
I
have
don't
a
know any.
main gig, but they got other stuff going on. We all have to. Like me, I got my books in my trunk. People are like, oh, next time I see you, like, no, you can get my book right now. It's in my trunk. It's-
Wow. Come
yes,
on. What's the what's his name? Little Romeo's father. What is his father's name out of
Master
New
P.
Orleans that was
Yeah,
Master P?
yeah.
You are the Master P
I'm the master.
of the
Yes.
literary world. Well, so let's talk a little bit about that. The whole thing of, we're laughing, but it's serious. You really need to have another stream of income. Is that
Yeah.
partially why your writing career was born as another stream of income, or was that not really what you were thinking about?
No, I am a writer. I've been destined to be a writer. I talked about this on the pre-show, where I've been writing since I was a child. I was the shy child, an empath, didn't really deal well with a lot of people around me. But my voice came through my writing. I would write through journals on end. And I remember when I got my first journal as a gift, one was through teachers. And then I got like a really like hardbound journal from my Aunt June, God rest her soul. And she said, you have a voice, use it. And I've been writing ever since. Now, it's been a lot of people who are also walking in their purpose that have told me when you decide to step out and walk out into your purpose, the money will come. And I didn't do this to, get get seriously paid, or I wanted to birth my writing to mainly help other people. My writing is very inspirational and healing for some people, and to share stories. And lo and behold, I started to learn about the self publishing world, how to publish a book, how to work with editors, graphic designers. And I was like, you know what? I can put my own book together. I was in several anthologies before my first book came out, and I learned a lot from those editors and authors. And I learned from a lot of from actually authors who are now New York Times bestsellers. We know them by name, but they have told their stories to me because I've signed up for their classes and workshops and learned more about who they were before they were the New York Times bestsellers. And a lot of them were self published. So, yeah, now it's another stream of income. But I really do it because it's my love and my passion.
Mm. So let's talk about this. I
Hmm.
love the concept, and I'm sure the audience does too. The concept of being able to do for self. This is the beauty of the age we live in.
Yeah.
The technology age. It sounds corny, but
Yeah.
for the first time, we don't have to beg anyone
No.
to put out our thoughts, our videos,
Yep.
our audio, podcast. We can go ahead and self distribute. But
Yeah.
sometimes there's a level of disrespect that
Mm,
comes with it. And it's not
mm,
even just the traditional industry, like, okay, let's talk about the book industry. The gold
yeah.
standard is New York Times bestseller. And
Yeah.
there are
Yeah.
people that are like, "Ugh, Amazon," when it comes to those types of things. But
Oh.
the thing is, the real truth is, if it was left to a traditional press, and not necessarily a vanity press, but a traditional press, these people may not be published, and they do have something to say. How do
Yeah.
you deal with that disrespect, or I should say, it is disrespect, but also the disregard of
Mhm.
talents that come not through the traditional industry, book industry?
Yeah, it's funny because many years ago, before I thought I was going to be self-published, I was looking into the traditional route. So I had all the publishers lined up, I had my query letters because back then, we're talking before Facebook and on any social media, you had to physically handwrite a query letter with your manuscript. And at that
Mm,
time, I didn't know that I needed a literary agent. So it was all these moving parts, and for what? Just to get rejected. I cannot tell you. I have a file to this day of all the rejections I got, from my children's books to my poetry books to fiction, you name it. And I was like, okay, if I keep waiting for someone to publish me, if anyone would pick me up to publish me, and then I started learning about self-publishing, like I was saying, through the anthologies that I'm in. All of them are self-published anthologies, all of them. None of them went through a publishing house or the traditional route, because they too no longer had patience. They were like, we have a gift to share with the world. We have a voice to share with the world. And we're not going to wait for someone to finally pick up our manuscripts and say, oh, we'll approve them. So there are some that look down as self-published authors. I've ran into a couple of them, but thank goodness I've ran into more that are like really giving us our props and our kudos, because that's how they started. And I'm talking like big names. Like, I'll never forget when I met the late Elin Harris, when I met
mm,
Omar Tyree, when I met Mary B. Morrison, when I met Kimberly Lawson Roby. I mean, I've met these authors, and they all started self-published. The stories of my books were in the garage, my books were in the car, just all these different crazy stories. But they said now we're traditionally published, but there was a time we were self-published, and they talk about the pros and cons. And the one pro I hear from a lot of authors that I know of that have like the, contracts and whatnot, is that there's a sense of freedom that they don't have anymore, because they're no longer self-published. They're published, but they have to now go based on the publisher's schedule and agenda. And you have to read that contract, the fine print, and you need to sell so many copies and the way you could sell them. And there's a lot of rules that you have to abide by. But yeah, there are some where, for example, if I become a New York Times bestseller, fantastic. If I don't, that's great too. But it's platforms like that where you don't really see us. You don't see the self-published authors on a New York Times bestseller list, or we haven't really like cracked that code to get on there yet. You have some who are like, we were self-published, but now we are through Simon and Schuster or HarperCollins or what have you, and they tell their stories. But yeah, I really would love to be that author. And I'm sure there's some of us that are probably down towards the bottom of the list, but it'd be great to see us in like the top 10, top 20 on bestseller lists. But the goal is to just fulfill my purpose and to do what
mm.
God called me to do, and to write, whether I'm on someone's award-winning list or not.
Whether you're on someone's award-winning list or not. So,
Yeah.
well, I have a question. Is it a
Okay.
requirement that you're published through a traditional publisher to be considered for eligibility for the New York Times bestseller list?
I have to look at their requirements. I think so. But all the ones that are like the top tier ones are traditionally published. They're coming through a publisher, and of course they sell, but there's like so many books you have to sell. So that's the other thing too. In order to become a New York Times bestseller, you really need to be pumping books out there, and it's like you've gone viral through the literary world. So yeah, it's really that, and I have to go back and look at their requirements. But I know what I have actually learned is that there are other entities and organizations and magazines that do have like their own bestseller list or award winner list or what have you. And you don't have to be traditionally published through a publishing house. So there are those, and it's great that there's more of those cropping up. I know here, just in the DC area, we just had it. It's called the DMV Renaissance Awards, and it's great because you could basically tell folks I want to nominate Serena, for Poet of the Year or Poetry Book of the Year or what have you. And people actually vote. And they had like their award ceremony the other week, and you come all decked out and dressed, and they announce the winners, and it's a fabulous event. So I'm glad that there's regions that are now picking up, that we can do this too on a local level or a regional level, and give props to our artists and self-published authors because they deserve it.
Mm. So Butha Vandross is here. What's up, Butha? And
Hi,
says, that's
Boofa.
it. Walk in your purpose, and everything else will follow suit.
Yes,
Absolutely.
yes.
Absolutely. She also says, good evening. And I love Incapable Bondage, her explanation. She says, thank you,
Hmm.
because I gave her, props for
Yes,
the name. Incapable
yes,
bondage means being bound by past experiences that we have no control over, but learn
yes,
to cope and be successful once you are no longer experiencing trauma.
yes.
Wonderful.
And she does these Monday evening chats that people need to chime
Mm,
into on Instagram. It is so healing. It's such an open and safe space. And she does workshops like in the DMV area. And it's great. So, shout out to, her for, basically using past trauma, like the trauma to say, you know what, I'm going to now pay it forward and help
mm.
those who are in the midst of trauma and pull them through to where I'm at and to help them heal. So shout out to my girl. She's amazing.
Shout out. Shout
Yes,
out. That's
yes, yes, yes.
fantastic. Well, we are, and Butha loves that. I think that's
Yes. The
absolutely
name is
amazing.
just, yeah.
Yeah, the name is fantastic. So, folks, let me say hello to everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. If you are
Yes.
just joining, I just noticed something too. Sometimes, technology can and will fail you. So you probably notice I sound a little different because I switched mics and now it's the right mic. Weird. But well, so if you're noticing the resonant voice, that's why. So welcome everyone to the livest media tech and pop culture party. In my opinion, this is MediaScope, all things media, tech, and pop culture. We are here every Wednesday. Every Wednesday? Okay, almost every Wednesday. I'm about to greet you all, but we're here just about every Wednesday. 6 p.m. Eastern time. Thursdays we're on Gospel 107. But let me greet you all properly. So for those of you watching on Facebook, thank you, thank you, thank you, or Bookface as I like to call it. If you're watching on my personal page, I will get to you in case you have comments. I can't. They don't populate where I'm working, so I will have to look directly and then give you a shout out there. If you're watching on LinkedIn, hello LinkedIn, you're trying. You're trying, LinkedIn. If you are watching on the tubing of the U, hello to you. Thank you so much for being here. Twitchers, what's up, Twitch? It is good to have you. It hasn't been that long since we've been on Twitch, but we've had a steady flow of people. So thank you, Twitch, for being here. And
Cool.
if you happen to be watching us on Gospel 107.1 FM, listening rather, in Nassau, Bahamas, and the rest of the Caribbean tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, multitude of blessings we wish you. Thank you so much for being here. All right, now back to our regularly scheduled, as my father says. So let's see if we have any commentary. We don't have any commentary yet. People are sitting back and
Okay.
listening.
Take,
Remember, if you have questions, please ask.
taking
If
it
you have
in.
comments,
Okay.
please make them. Mediascope family, you know what to do. So
Yes.
I do have more questions for you.
Okay. Go for it.
Let's let's take a look at the writing career.
Okay.
When you started writing, was it always poetry, or did it start off with short stories, etc.,
Mm.
and then kind of morphed into what you do now? And do you still do the types of things you used to write? So that's a lot of questions, but pick from them and go ahead and answer.
It didn't start with poetry. It started with short stories, nonfiction and fiction, and children's stories as well. It also started off as articles. So I would write articles. That was another thing I would try to submit my articles. Well, I did submit articles to like Essence magazine and Ebony magazine back in the day, and everything like that. The poetry started up in, I'm aging myself, but it's all right. When I graduated college in 97. And it just came to me. I'll never forget. I was in my old apartment, my very first apartment that I rented out here in the DMV area, and it just hit me. And I just started writing. And I was like, oh, this is a poem. And I just started writing more. Now, I loved poetry. That's the thing. I grew up in a household. My mother like introduced me to, I wish personally, I met a couple of them later in life, but she raised me up on Nikki Giovanni, Sonia Sanchez, Maya Angelou, the Last Poets. And that was the household I grew up in. Remember her telling me stories about, oh yeah, I went to the Last Poets open mic, back in the 70s. Or I went and I saw, she said one time she saw Nikki Giovanni and Sonia Sanchez together in New York, somewhere in Harlem, back in the day for $5. Five.
What?
So because this is back when they were coming up, $5. So I grew up knowing poetry and reading poetry and loving it, not knowing one day I would be a poet myself. And fast forward, I do have children's stories. I talked about that in the pre-show. I do have like 6 children's books in my laptop that I need to get out into the universe. I have to find an illustrator and start getting them out. I have actually 3 fiction books that are completely done. One is like completely edited. I just have to go through the second round of edits. And my next book after the one I have now, we'll talk about that one. But my book after this one is actually a memoir. So it's nonfiction. It's going to be based off my experience of battling Lyme disease. So I have books and I write here and write there. I'm a health and wellness writer for blogs and on my blog as well. But it didn't always start with poetry, and just poetry just gave me this voice to get like a lot of emotions and feelings out, as well as what I've been observing and experiencing in life. But like I said, when you grow up knowing the greats, and then when you meet them, because the day I met Nikki Giovanni, I told her how I grew up, knowing about her. And that was actually Tachi, you'll love this. It was like a year or two after I crossed Delta. And I told her I'm also your soror. She came from around the table and gave me the biggest hug. And
Mm.
she's amazing, y'all. She's so humble.
Wow.
All of them are. I mean, I've written her letters and I've actually sent her my books. Like maybe she'll read my books. And she's written me back. Like I have like along my wall, like letters and cards from her and telling me that she could see my growth as a poet. And she's just such an amazing spirit. I met Sonia Sanchez, same. I told her how my mother grew me, we grew up and learned all about her poetry and came from around that table and gave me a hug. I mean, so when you meet the pioneers, like these are women I looked up to and they're now pouring into you. I met Maya Angelou before she passed away. And this is
Wow.
before any book was birthed or anything. I was starting to write poetry. And I met her at Howard University. It was a talk. And I was able to get a
Hmm.
ticket to go. And she talked and chatted with almost everyone there. And was like, I just need you to keep writing. She was like, you found your voice, don't stop. And that was like in 1999 when I met her. So I'm telling you, I'm like, I have no choice but to keep going.
Mm. The spirit of the ancestors is compelling
Yep.
you
Oh,
to
yeah.
go forward, so you have no choice. It's
No
like you don't
choice.
want to disappoint them. Let me
Nope.
say hello to some of the people that are watching
Yeah.
over on my
All right.
personal Facebook page. Danielle Arrington is here. Danielle, how are you?
Hi,
Welcome.
Danielle.
Kente Ferguson is here. Kente, how are
Hey,
you? How goes
Kente.
it? It's been a while, right?
Wow.
How goes it,
Yeah.
Kente? Good to see you. Rich Reels says, good afternoon. Good afternoon, Rich.
Hello,
Good to
Rich.
see you. Thank you so much for being here. And so just bear with me because again, it doesn't populate over here.
I
So I
know.
pop
They
over
haven't figured
and
that out yet.
take a look. Look, you know what? I can't help people who don't want help. That if you don't want help, I cannot help you.
I
So it is
know.
what it is.
I
But
know.
until then, I will just pop over manually and see
Okay.
what's happening on all of these places. So thank you for those of you watching on my personal Facebook page. Wow. So, from the greats that have held you in your arms and their arms and compelled you to
Hmm.
go on, and we're going to get to your books and talk about them specifically in just a minute.
Okay.
Do you feel, or what responsibility do you feel to the next generation of writers, and how are
Mm.
you helping them?
That's a great question. So I will say before the show today, I have a box of books next to me. So I got my first shipment of books, and it's a ninth grade campus out here. They are amazing. They
Hmm.
support me. They actually have all three. They have the first three books, and the librarian
Oh,
said
wow.
last year the book was still in process. Like it was still in editing phase. She said, "I need an invoice because I already know the writing you're going to just deliver is going to impact my children and my students. And I need like X amount of copies so I can give them out to my students." And I work with this ninth grade campus. And I will tell you, in the height of the pandemic, we weren't allowed in the building. So when school resumed and the kids were able to go back in person, we still were virtual. So we had a screen up with poets on the screen, for example. And there was a ninth grade student. I'm not going to say her name because she's a minor. So now she's like in 11th grade, which is crazy. And she had a copy of my book, The Awakening. This was the first time I heard somebody on the mic reading my poetry, and I cried. I was like, this is the generation coming up, and she's reading from my book, The Awakening. And she said, your book helped me at a time when my parents were getting divorced. And she said, there were so many emotions and feelings in there. And I felt like I wasn't alone anymore when I read your book. And she's in the poetry club. And I just encourage them. I talk, I pour into them how I've been poured into to keep writing and to do what you have to do. And you write for yourself, and then it will be birth for other people. But the fact that this young lady got up on the mic, read a poem from my poetry book, it just kind of sat with me like I'm really making an impact with these students. And now they're in 11th grade. The first group that I work with, they're they're in college. Like I worked with them back in 2017. And I did the math like, oh my gosh, they're in college right now. And when you run into them on the street, it's amazing because they're grown up and they're like, oh, we have your books. We want to thank you because we're still writing. And we
Mm,
find out we have a voice. And
mm,
when times get hard, we journal, we go to our writing. So that's what I do. I work with students mainly like in like ninth grade and up. I do workshops, like I was talking about self-publishing, but I also do poetry workshops. And I did poetry workshops in the pandemic, and I put 16 and up. And there was an 11 and 12-year-old in my workshop. And they're like, can
re-
we be here? Like with our mom? Our mom is here, but can we be here? We wanted to sign up. And I was like, yes, because all my workshops are rated G. So,
right.
and they were there writing poetry, and they're like 11. They're my son's age. They're
Wow.
11 and 12. So, yeah, yeah, it's a
Mm,
blessing, and it's a huge. It just shows. It's like a huge honor when you see the impact that you can make. And sometimes if you think they're tuned out, they're listening, trust me. I've had workshops where you got the kids in the back and they got the one earbud on and one earbud off because they're trying to be cool around their friends. But then they'll walk up to me afterwards and say, we really heard your poetry and we want to learn more. And I told them I know how it feels. It's the peer pressure. So that's what I talked to them about too with my writing, is that it's a way to talk about those feelings because our kids are really going through a lot in school, a lot in middle school and high school. And it's a place of peace. And it's like a literary sanctuary for them. So Yeah, it's really important to pour into the next generation and the generation behind that generation.
Absolutely. So, as we are uh, going through this, let me just say welcome and hello to everybody who's here. This is MediaScope, all things media, tech, and pop culture. Today, we have host, not host, guest. She's actually kind of like my co host today, but we have guest Serena Wills, who's an author and poet and educator, and then some. She does so many things. And she has a new book that has come out, and I'm really excited about that. And I really wanted her to come on and talk about this. So that's who we're talking to today. Let me take a look at my Facebook or the book face and say hello to Dottie DePaul. How are you, Dottie? Also say hello to Gary Lanham. Hey, Gary, how
Hey,
are you?
Gary.
Lainey Lane is also here. Hey, Lainey, welcome.
Hey.
Thank you so much for being here. Let me tell you, that CQ family and the MediaScope family, bar
Yes.
none, they are
Yes.
just absolutely fantastic.
Yes.
So we're talking about poetry, and speaking of which, I really would like to get a reading from
Oh,
you. And yeah,
okay.
would you
All
would you
right.
read us something?
Yes, yes, and I will show y'all the book cover first. This is Artist Paradise, Piece of Life, Volume 3. So that is my baby. Painting is originally done by Ricky Johnson Atkins, painted just for my book. Shout out to her. But yeah, let me read a poem. And okay, this is going to be from Act 12. So my books have chapters, and for those who are Roots fans, shout out to the Roots. Um, those who are early on fans of theirs, remember they had acts. So that's how you knew what CD you
Yes.
had, because it was like, wait, I got Act 5 through 10. Where's 1 through? So that's how you knew where you need to get your CDs and cassette tapes. We're dating ourselves, but it's okay. So I got the idea to have acts in my book. So Act 12 is called Artist Paradise, which is the title of the book. And the name of this poem is called Reality and Dreams Collide. Walking amongst the clouds, heaven on earth, twirling around in my dream, but this time it's real. Touching and feeling my gifts, in love with my talents. Working day and night has finally paid off, priceless in every way. Funny thing is, my 9 to 5 has turned into pure artistry. Punching clocks is gone. Traveling the scene with my poetry, fiction novels, and children's literature. Attending a friend's dance performance that's combined with the symphony. Listening to another's brand new groove while streaming. Gallery opening of my best friend's paintings. Divas gracing the catwalk with my friend's label on their clothes. Culinary cooking show on the tube hosted by my sister girl, the master chef herself. Photos in Time magazine are my homegirls. We've all made it. Where, you may ask? We have finally arrived in artist paradise. Oh, you're on mute.
There we go. Okay, now if I can snap properly.
Thank you for the snaps. Okay.
Yeah, for the silent snaps at first.
I
So
love it. The silent snaps.
here,
Yes.
the silent snaps. This is what it brought up in me.
Okay.
And I know that poetry is really subjective.
Mm-hmm.
Although an author has, or a poet has, what they intend, I think
Mm-hmm.
everyone takes something different away from it. As
Yeah.
soon as you started reading, well, you didn't even have, when you mentioned the Roots, it kind of made me think of this. But when I was living in DC, that was really at the height of the neo soul age. That
Yes.
was when, and then
Yes.
neo soul, and then that kind of genre
Yep.
of kind of hip hop, the whole Philadelphia sound.
Yep.
And so that this is what came up in me when you were reading that.
Wow.
That had a quintessential DC. I'm at Howard. Neo soul is really becoming a big thing. It
Mm-hmm.
had that feeling for me.
Oh,
And
wow. Thank you.
yeah, it really, no, it's wonderful. It was really very nostalgic. So is that your intent with this, to stir up nostalgia?
Yeah, it's funny. I have different poems in this book that do stir up nostalgia. It's funny because I have a particular poem. It's called And It Was Spoken, and I have a mention
Mm.
of Bar None in there. For those who are from the DC area,
Oh,
know what Bar None is. And I take it back to the 90s when I first started writing, and I would take my journal with me to the open mics, and I'm writing in the cut, and people knew what you were doing. I mean, the whole vibe. It was a vibe. So I have different poems like that. I have subway stories where I talk about my days riding the New York City subways. And you don't know what you're going to see. You're going to see B-girls and B-boys dancing. You're going to have folks selling CDs and batteries. You're going to have musicians and stuff. So this book does stir up those feelings. It also stirs up other feelings of I can do it. I can make what I do on the side my full-time hustle. It could be what I do every day. It could be what I do all the time. It's going to stir up memories, like I was saying. Subway stories is one of them. And I actually have love poems in here. Lots of people, I know so many artists who met their loved ones at a performance or an open mic, or they're artists together and they create together. And so, yeah, it's going to stir up some really good feelings. This is a really feel good book. It's my dedication to the arts. I have poems in here about dancers and writers and sculptors and you name it, scribers and illustrators. I really pour my love for the arts into this book. So yeah, it will stir
mm.
that up. So yeah, there's a poem about bar none. Yep. It's
Wow,
just
wow, wow. And then for those of you, I don't know how many of you are familiar with the DMV
yeah.
area, especially like in the early 2000s,
Yep.
90s, early 2000s, there was a lot going on U Street.
Yes.
And so people always think, when they think of Republic Gardens, remember Republic
Oh,
Gardens?
yep, right across the street
People
from
think
bar
of
none.
Republic
Yep.
right
Hmm.
across from Bar None, right next to State of the Union, right next to State of the
That was my
Union.
spot. Grits and gravy night on Tuesday nights.
Yes, yes,
Yep.
absolutely.
Yep.
But Republic Gardens always had poet. They had poetry slams on
Yes.
Tuesdays.
Yes. Yes,
So
they
I
did.
lived around the corner because I was living on campus in the
Hmm.
Howard
Hmm.
Plaza Towers.
Yep.
So I walked down the street to U Street and spent
Hmm.
my Tuesday evenings at Republic
Wow.
Gardens for the
Wow.
poetry. It
Wow.
was it was awesome. It was
Yep.
awesome. So it and those were good times. So it
Great
stirs up good times. So
times.
thank you for that.
You're
Thank you for that.
welcome. You're
That
welcome.
was great. Let's see. We have a lot of clapping for
Okay.
you.
All right. Thanks for the claps and
Miss
the
Wills.
snaps. All right, y'all.
We're gonna put up the claps, borderline snaps, because you deserve them. So Terry Nixon is clapping.
Thank you,
Cheryl Woods,
Terry.
give you a clap.
Thank
Helena,
you. Hello,
Helena,
Helena.
is it Helena or Helena?
Helena.
I want to make sure
Yeah.
it's Helena.
Helena.
Okay.
Hmm.
Want to make sure I'm saying it right. Butha is clapping, and Butha clapped again. It's so good he
Hey.
had to clap. He had to clap twice. So, and then we've got Butha is also clapping over here. Wait a minute.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
clapping over. You
He
in two places,
he
Butha?
on you know.
He's on face. I think he's on Facebook and on. No, he's just on YouTube. Never mind. Anyway,
It's all
Stacey
right.
Thomas is also
Hi,
has also
Stacy.
clapped. Hi,
Hey.
Stacey. How are you? Welcome. Thank you so much for
I got
being
old
here.
friends in here from middle school, high school, and college.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
good. That's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah,
Some
we
Syracuse
got
people, huh?
yeah, we got some Syracuse, we got middle and high school folks in here. So
Oh, wow.
yeah, that's Helena.
Wow.
Helena and I go back to
Fantastic.
7th, 8th grade, and me and Stacy go back to Syracuse together. Yeah.
Wow. Well,
Yep.
welcome to all of you. We
Yes.
appreciate you being here.
Welcome.
Welcome. This is some good stuff, folks. We are talking to Serena Wills, the poet extraordinaire, the
Thank
writer
you.
extraordinaire, the educator extrauraordinaire, and the queen of food truckery extraordinaire. I still owe you a shirt. I still have a shirt for you. I need to get to you. So,
I know I'll get it one day. It's all good. I got room on my shelf for it.
great. You will. Exactly. See, that's what you need to do. Y'all get it one day. Great.
One day.
So, one day.
Yeah.
So this is absolutely wonderful. I'm
Thank
wondering
you.
what your motivation for this book in the series is
Mm.
compared to the other two.
Yeah, so this book, those who don't have the first two, the first one is Reconstruction, Piece of Life, Volume 1, that came out in 2014. And then The Awakening came out in 2019. That's Piece of Life, Volume 2. So this is like a trilogy. So
Hmm.
if you read the first two books, I talk a little bit about finding my way back to artistry, or those finding their way back to their purpose. They might have been sidetracked. A lot of stuff happened in their life, whether it's trauma, grief, death, losing jobs, relationship woes, you name it. So this book is okay, we've made it. Okay, we are now in artist paradise. This is where we've been talking about the past couple of books. And like I said, it's just paying my respects to all of the arts. I wish I could fit all the arts in here, but this book would be like a dictionary. So, but that's where it came from, pulling from the first two books. And the book was actually like the very first really rough draft was done like back in like 2010 or 2011. And I just kept adding poems. It wasn't done, but I knew the gist. Like the title was there, Artist Paradise, and I knew that this poetry book was going to be a book filled with the arts. The one thing that I did differently with this book that I didn't do with the first two is because, as we get older and we learn, we grow. There are different forms of poetry in this book that you will not see in the first three books I have, because I have three other books. One is a standalone. So I tried my skills, and I have like haikus in here. I have pantoum poems, which is a patterned poem. I have a triptych. I think I have a cleave poem in here too. And free verse poetry, rhyming poetry. These are all forms of poetry. There's over 50 forms of poetry. I have metaphoric poems in here as well. So I have newer poems in here blended with the older poems. But yeah, this is really like the culmination of, okay, she was talking about her artistry in the first couple of books, but this is like the deep dive on the artistry, and not just my artistry, but others that I have observed and witnessed, and how they are all doing their thing now full time.
Mm. Wow, wow. And as you're talking, your words are poetry. I don't know if you noticed this, but the way you speak,
No, it's
iambic
just
pentameter. Okay. The way you speak is
oh wow,
actually
thank
very
you.
quite poetic. It is. I'm listening as because it's giving me a chance to actually listen. Remember, we only see you as the proprietor of our
I
imaginary
know.
food
I'm
truck.
in the background throwing
So
tacos and
you're in the
drinks on the
background.
screen and making sure folks are fed and having a good time. Yeah.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. But in that, it's the same thing like when you work with people, you're like, well, I didn't know you know how to make pot holders.
Yeah.
Those
Yeah.
types of things. You
Yeah.
have no clue.
Exactly.
And I knew you were a poet. I knew you had
Yeah.
these books, but just hearing you speak, this is the
Thank
first time
you.
I'm hearing you speak, and it sounds like poetry, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, thank you for the
Yeah.
compliment. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we are winding down the conversation. We are here with Serena Wills, and guess what? The thing is, we have a special surprise for you all. And
Yeah, that's right.
so, okay, I'm gonna have to do this.
Okay.
We're gonna give away two
Oh,
books.
okay. Okay.
So we have one. So we're gonna give away a total of
One
four
on
books.
IG.
Uh,
Okay. We got one
you
on
get one on
IG.
IG.
Okay.
Two here
Two here.
because the people on what's the name? Book face, my personal book face, cannot enter the way I'm about to do it. So
Okay.
we're going to give them. You have to come up with another question.
Okay. Okay. Oh,
Okay?
I
For
have
them.
one because I mentioned something. So I have one.
Oh, great, great, great. So we'll do the question first for the people on my personal Facebook. Then we'll
Okay.
do the random for everybody else that can be in the random.
Okay.
And then Gospel 107.1 FM, you're going to get one. So there's a
Okay.
total of 4 books
All right.
that
All
are
right.
going
Thank
out.
you.
Yeah.
All right. All right. So
Yes. All
first
right.
question.
So okay, listen. Listen, listen good.
Listen good.
Book face.
Listen
First
good. I
that you
hope
touch
folks
you
are
every
listening.
book face.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
So whoever gets the answer or
close.
and so those of you over here don't answer. This is only for the people on the personal Facebook, and I wonder who's not going to listen and going to answer. We'll see.
All right.
So I'm not putting anything up. So go
Okay.
ahead, ask
All
your
right.
question.
So I mentioned there's 3 books in the series, Pieces of Life. I mentioned the year that The Awakening came out. I mentioned the year. I said The Awakening came out in blank year. What year did I say? Let's see who was really paying attention.
Repeat the question again.
Yes, I mentioned the year The Awakening, Piece of Life Volume 2 came out, my second book in the series. And I mentioned the year it came out. What was the year?
I have an answer on Facebook.
Okay.
Was it 2017?
Very close.
Very close.
That was Crying to the Teal. So close.
Okay, very close, very close. Do we have any other answers from the people on my personal Facebook? And look at all the people paying attention on the nobody's answering. Very good. Look at you. See, I would be proud to have you all as students.
See,
very good.
They pay attention to the rules. They listen.
All right, going once.
Uh-oh.
Going twice. Danielle Arrington is going to get it because you all are too slow. So Danielle Arrington gets it. What was the year?
The year was 2019.
2019.
I said before the pandemic, my book came out.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Danielle came back with 2019. So
see, Danielle on it. Danielle?
Anyway. Woohoo! Yeah!
You're on it. You're on it. All right. All right. Congrats.
Yeah! That's
hey, all right.
That's going to
Danielle Arrington.
Danielle Arrington, get in touch with you're on Instagram. How do you want her to contact you?
Yeah, if she wants to just reach out, message me on Divine Right, DivineWryte, just message me and we'll exchange information.
Okay, and I'll put it up for you too, so you could exchange information and she can get you the book.
Yep.
All right, now the Girls Are Us is here and she's clapping for you as well.
Hey, hello.
Good to see you. All right, so now comes the giveaway. All right, so this is what you all, for the rest of you all that are not on my personal Facebook page, you are going to write in the chat #book, #BOOK. All right, so
I got work to do.
Book. So I know it takes a minute for things to populate. So
I know.
So write #book in the chat, people. There's some there. You all are here.
Put #book and you will win Artist Paradise.
I think there may be a little bit of a okay, it's coming now. So we've got it in. I'm going to give a minute for it to populate so that we can. So write #book in the chat. Give it a few.
Okay.
So
we'll come back.
You all don't have to. We'll come back for you. We'll come back for you. So as we're waiting for this to populate, are you now working on another book? I know this just came out, but what baby is birthing? Are you going to birth next?
Yeah. So I have books, plural, in my laptop.
Books this is okay.
Books. Okay, so the next book, which is, it has taken me time. It's taken, all my books take years sometimes, but this one is highly emotional. It is not poetry, but there are some poems in this book. Is my memoir about my battle with Lyme disease, and it's called "Living the Lyme Life," and it's my personal battle with Lyme disease. That is going to debut in 2024. I'm just going
Mm,
to loosely look out for it later in 2024. I'm actually looking at like sheets of paper I have on my wall because there's chapters where I have to fill in the holes and just fill in the
mm,
gaps
okay.
and do a what I call like a flush. So after I finish my book, I start from the very beginning and I read, like, do a line by line. And
Mm,
I actually read it out loud because when you read stuff out loud, you catch things. And it's like, okay, I missed a part here, I missed this part here. And then after I do the flush, I send it off to my editor. So that is the next book coming out. And in the book after that, it's kind of like a tie.
mm,
I have friends who were my beta readers. So beta readers are people who read your books and give you feedback before the book is even out.
okay.
And they remember from years ago before I got sick with Lyme disease, they said, Serena, where is your fiction book that we read? It has to come out soon. So I may take a break from poetry. I may just throw another poetry book in there too, but I have to release one of my fiction books because there are people asking
Mm,
for a particular one because they read it. They read it as beta readers. So I have to release that book. And I have the
okay.
title, but I'll release the title when I'm ready. But it's like already edited, but I got really sick with Lyme disease and my head was just not in the right place to touch that book. But the book is starting to talk to me again. So yeah, so those, and I have children's stories that need to come out, all kinds of books. Yeah, all
Okay.
kinds.
Okay.
Yep, but the
All
Lyme
right.
memoir is coming out next.
Okay. So Lyme disease memoir coming out next.
Yes.
That should be interesting. I'm looking forward to all of that. All right,
Yeah.
everybody. I hope you got your
Okay.
things in
All right.
because it is
Here we
about to,
go.
we are
I
about to
love this.
draw.
I love
Here
it.
we go.
I love it.
All
Here we
right. Here
go.
we go. Here we go. Here we go.
Here we go. Helena!
Helena! Helena, you are the winner of Serena's latest book. You
Awesome.
look at that.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Good for you. All right, here we go. All right,
Yay.
that's awesome. Yay. Okay,
Yes.
I have to be better. I have sound effect stuff and I just don't have it
We're going to
on.
get there.
So
It's all right.
yeah,
It's all
yeah,
right.
we'll get there. Today was also sneak peek week. It's still sneak peek week for Indie Soup. So I'm pulling
Yes.
double duty. So
Yes. God bless you
all
for
the
that.
little things I would normally do, not today.
Look out for my sneak peek, y'all. It's coming. It is coming. We're
It
just going
is.
to say that.
Serena is actually, yeah. So let's talk a little bit about that. We have about
Okay.
3 minutes left.
Okay.
And Helena says, thank you so much. So
Very
you already know how
welcome.
to get in touch
Yes.
with each other. So go
Yep.
ahead and get in touch. And Terry Nixon says, congrats to Helena.
Yes.
Yay.
Congrats.
Yes. Absolutely. Congrats, congrats, congrats. Cheryl Woods also congratulates you. It's nice. That's wonderful. We have all these congratulations.
Yes.
And Danielle Arrington is clapping. And we also have Dr. Pat Fuqua Sanders, my good friend and
Hello.
colleague, joining us.
Hello.
And Pat, you're at the University of North Alabama. So she is a
Okay.
colleague of mine at the University of North Alabama in the communications department there.
Awesome.
We are
Awesome.
all members of the Broadcast Education Association Multicultural Studies Division. So
Wow.
that was a mouthful.
Yes.
Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, so as we're wrapping this up, uh, are there other things that you want to share with us that we did not get a chance to talk about today? We're definitely going to have you back because you have
Oh,
more
thank
books in
you.
you, and we're
Yes.
definitely going to talk about them. And at the very
Yes.
least, you'll be here for the food truck. But
I know, right? I'll be here
anyway,
for the food truck, y'all. Okay. Yes. So pre-orders are available. You go to my website,
hold on a minute.
serenawills.com.
And guess what? We do have a graphic for you.
Oh,
So go ahead.
oh, okay. Oh, I'm fancy now. Okay, so you can go to my website, serenawills.com, and you can now go to the store and you can order the paperback book is available for pre-order. The ebook is coming out next month, and also this is the first book that will have an audio book. So the audio book will be also released next month. It's already done. I just have to upload it to the platform, but for now, you can pre-order the paperback book. It's $20 plus shipping and handling. You can go and order my other books as well, if you want to. But yeah, and what's coming up is I have another hat. I'm a workshop facilitator, and I have self-publishing 201. The next
Hmm.
steps is coming up November 2nd, and I think that's actually on my website. If not, I'm going to put it up. But stay tuned. It's in 2 weeks and a day, which is very frightening. Okay, so it's very frightening.
No, it's exciting,
Like
not
it's exciting, like, oh my gosh. But it's actually, this is the drum roll, it's free. It's a free workshop. It is sponsored by the City of Alexandria Public Libraries. So y'all can just register and come. It's virtual and it's free. And you get to learn. This is now 201. So people probably like, where's 101? Well, that was a couple of months ago. But I do have those workshops available for, uploading on my website. But 201, we talk more in depth about self-publishing. I talk about how to get an audiobook done, how to do ghostwriting, how to get a ghostwriter, marketing. Talk about getting a home on the World Wide Web and to not solely rely on social media. We talk about book clubs and the beauty of them and all, like, just wonderful things. So the steps for how to get a book into fruition is self-publishing 101. But I do a slight recap. But whether you have a book in you or not, come on out. Everyone always walks away with learning so much. And stay tuned for virtual and in-person book releases for Artist Paradise.
and you actually do learn quite a bit. I went
Thank
through
you.
and yeah, I went through 101 and
Yeah.
I still need to do 201. So maybe this will be
Yes.
my
Yes.
time to finally
Yes.
do the second part of this.
It was
So
your
it
group
was
that inspired me to do a 201
really
because y'all were like,
okay.
"All right, so when's the next class?" And I was like, I'm doing 101 again." And y'all were like, "No, there's so much more." And it was all the
Right.
questions from your group, that class that day. And I took all
Yeah.
the questions and I birthed it into 201 because I was like,
See.
I could not fit it into 101. I was like, this is a whole workshop in itself. And I created the workshop. That was 2020.
See, and you see what questions do. So don't
See?
ever be afraid to ask questions
You
because
never
these can
know.
spark other things. The reason
Exactly.
I have a whole book now, an ebook, is because of the questions that came out of the workshop that I did on
There you go.
camera lighting and sound, on lighting
See?
rather. So
There you
I
go.
was trying to answer their questions and it turned into a whole book. So
Yep.
keep asking questions because they really do spark further creativity.
Yeah. Yep. And then I have Indie
Absolutely.
Soup Media coming up. So I'm like, put that
Yes.
in there. I'm
Yes.
like, I'm going to be on a network. Okay. So
Absolutely, absolutely. So she is actually one of the creators on Indie Soup. She will be having segments
yep.
that will be dealing with. Well, tell us a little bit about what your segments are going to be.
Yeah. So y'all are going to see some segments by yours truly. And it's going to be a variety of things. So you'll see segments about poetry. I might be reading a poem or two, talk about where that poem, how it was birthed, where it came from. I'm going to be sharing tips, self-publishing tips in my segments and how to self-publish on a budget. Now, these are segments, it's tips. So, because one day, the next phase, there'll be some content release. But yeah, so you'll be able to hear some poetry, learn about self-publishing and the whole writing process and so much more. So tune in to Indie Soup Media. It's going to be, there's amazing content creators on here. Amazing. So just tune in, period. Period.
Absolutely, absolutely. And if you are not following us on social media, we are at Indie Soup Media everywhere.
Yep.
So it's sneak peek week, and this is day 3. So today we feature DJ McFord, our
Oh, I gotta check
resident
it out.
DJ. Yeah. So
Yeah, gotta check it out.
so we've got some content.
Yeah.
Writer's strike where? No, I'm just kidding. We have
Yeah.
some content.
We're
for it.
good.
So absolutely. So here we go. We are about to end this off. Serena, thank you so much for coming on and sharing with us and for
Oh,
the
you're
reading.
welcome.
That was absolutely exquisite. We
Very
can't wait to
welcome.
have you back. You're always welcome, but you're always here.
Thank
So
you. I'm always
it's
here.
not like you made a
I'm always
special
in the
trip.
background, but
you're always in the
yes.
background. But today you came into the foreground, and we're happy you did.
Oh, thank
So,
you.
ladies
Appreciate
and gentlemen, that is it. Thanks for hanging out 15 minutes after the hour, but you got your full hour now of content. And I have to say this, as usual, I love you for watching. I bid you adieu, you guys, myself, Serena, her books, and all of this. And guys who won, those of you who won books, don't forget to contact Serena. Let me put up this again so that you have this information. Okay. She is Divine Right on all socials, with the exception of Facebook, where she is facebook.com/Serena Will. So if you won, you can contact her that way. And guess what? If you're interested in her books, if you're interested in having her do workshopping for you, contact her anyway. She is open to all of that.
Thank you.
So, all right. Until next week.
Let's go.
Cheers, guys.
Bye.
Let's go. Bye.
They serve the hope on a plate across different platforms. This hero buffet, hydration like Boucher. Don't focus on a date, we always here for you. MediaScope when you're emotionally broke. Settle in our knowledge and conversations, don't make them yours. What we run is a living, like no hands on the torch. Take it easy like Sundays on the porch.